And just to let you know, U.S. Airman Aaron Bushnell did not kill himself to protest some other country's war. The U.S. Department of Defense has compelled the participation of Air Force members like Bushnell in Israel's Gaza genocide. Their orders to deploy to Israel read mandatory. So, and there it is.
You know, it's a lot different than that one in the 60s where it was like a Buddhist monk.
Yeah.
Which, like, you know, that's like, ugh, but it's not the same as a guy in uniform who's American and not a Buddhist monk. That's like really...
So here's how you should respond to that. Self-immolation is widely recognized as the most extreme form of protest possible. To publicly destroy one's own life in the most violent and extreme way is a stark warning for society to pay attention, as it has already crossed the line. Now, 2 U.S. citizens have self-immolated over the U.S.-backed... Yeah, there was another one, but you didn't hear about it. In Gaza in less than 3 months. The first was dismissed as anti-Semitism.
Wow, that guy really didn't like Jews, huh?
The second is already being labeled as a mental health issue. Our society is broken in the most disturbing of ways. Those with their fingers on the levers of power are guilty of the most heinous of crimes that reveal a deep psychopathic sickness at the heart of government and the narrative of lives and death before it kills us all. And here's another way you should react to this. Aaron Bushnell's death is on Biden's hands. Make no mistake. As the commander of the armed forces, as the sponsor of genocide, as someone who has ignored every peaceful form of protest, Biden is responsible. And so I just want to show you how the Mossad... There's a
I can't believe there's another one that I never heard about. And they just said he's anti-Semitic.
I think it might have been a woman. Can you Google and see if there was another self-immolation against the Gaza genocide? I guess it was 3 months ago because that person said within 3 months. So this is how there's a Twitter handle called Mossad Commentary, and it's got a blue check.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, that's if you want the true evidence of you know, what's going on over there, you don't have to listen to a protester or a Palestinian or any of that. Listen to these people, what they say about what they're doing, and it's unbelievable.
Here's what they tweeted out. Our enemies killed themselves. So this guy, the Mossad Commentary referred to this U.S. soldier as their enemy.
Well, yeah.
Our enemies killed themselves. They then took that tweet down. And then they put this up. U.S. Air Force soldier lights himself up on fire to protest Israel. What an idiot.
Just do the genocide.
Just do the genocide.
What you do? I mean, our best friends in the Middle East.
I have, according to Reuters, December 1st, a protester with a Palestinian flag self-immolated on Friday outside the Israeli consulate in Atlanta, authorities said.
Didn't hear about it.
So, you know,
isn't that something the news doesn't cover that? Isn't it something?
You know,
and I'm not allowed to cover it on YouTube, but I can cover it here on Rumble.
And he did it because he's anti-Semitic.
So here, you want to hear what Time Magazine had to say about it? Time Magazine, an active duty airman, Defense Department policy states that service members on active duty should not engage in partisan political activity. Military regulations also prohibit wearing the uniform during unofficial public speeches, interviews, picket lines, marches, rallies, or any other public demonstration which may imply sanction or endorsement by the Defense Department or the... So Time Magazine...
The guard had his gun drawn.
I want you to know that Aaron Bushnell's self-immolation was against the rules.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Time Magazine.
Yeah, Jimmy, is this misinformation? From what I understand, the Air Force, you're allowed to set yourself on fire on the base if you don't want to go to the thing? Or is that against the rules?
I guess it's against the rules, Kurt.
Okay.
Here's the National Review.
I've already used up my 3 free Newsweek, so
This excerpt from the National Review might actually be one of the most sadistic things I've ever read. Well, let's read it. Mr. Bushnell is quite obviously a damaged man in every respect. But the people doing a genocide and literally bombing the heads off...
The guy you were sending over there?
The guy, yeah.
That you were mandatory sending to go fight, who is damaged in every respect, that you vetted and trained.
Yeah, So this is what they say, Kurt. Oddity is normal in the armed services. We often vaunt diversity in the ranks, a fine thing, but such variability also bears with it some less than ideal priors.
Oh, like that Satanist guy that did the psyops in Nam? Yeah.
So it's conceivable that Bushnell was on his command's radar, but hadn't done anything to warrant action, at least until now. He'll no doubt face non-judicial punishment, reduction in rank and pay, and maybe even a court-martial, jail time, though the most painful lesson will be the skin grafts and rehabilitation for which one hopes the American taxpayer will not have to pay.
Yeah, we need that money to cause more need for skin grafts.
We are a sick society.
Well, I think the majority.
We are a sick. I mean, we've been slaughtering people since at least for the last 20 years, if not for the last 50 years, just slaughtering them for corporate profit. That's what the Iraq War was. Slaughtered 1 million Iraqis. Before that, we killed 500,000 Iraqi children with the sanctions, and we blew up their medicine factories.
Well, I think it's worth it though, and it's a great medal.
And as the great Secretary of State Madeleine Albright said, she thinks it was worth it to kill 500,000 children. Yeah. That's what Putin is not the world's thug. The media wants you to think that Putin is the world's thug. The drone bombings by 90%.
And he was a little bit loose with his estimates of his property value. Let's be fair. Let's be fair.
And wow,
I'm really upset that the
and he would find and Donald Trump would be doing the same policy in Gaza anyway. By the way, so you don't even get to pick the lesser of two evils. You have to pick the lesser of two genociders.
Man, the thing that I didn't want to see the most, and just now, I was like, I hope the guy at least died from this protest and didn't survive doing this, and he did.
He did survive? I don't know.
That's what he said. Skin grafts rehabilitation. Look, it was America's already said. But you remember?
So he was screaming for free Palestine. Was the last things he screamed? Free Palestine.
Yeah.
So that's an American soldier who wanted to bring attention to a literal genocide that they're now being mandated, compelled to participate in. Who? American servicemen.
Because he couldn't handle doing that to a bunch of kids. Because there's something wrong with him that he would rather light himself on fire than light a bunch of women and children on fire for a country he doesn't live in, and it's mandatory. Because he's sick. The guy's sick.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if you don't want to go participate in a genocide, you're sick. So that fire is here.
Yeah, I think it's fallen apart on its own, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't notice ever.
The complete corporate takeover. This is because corporations run our government. Which corporations? The bomb makers? The oil companies?
Disney?
That's why
the MCU runs our government.
That's why this is all happening. That's why there's a couple of 100,000 dead Ukrainians that didn't need to be dead. That's why there's 1 million dead Iraqis. That's why there's all those dead people in Libya and they turn it into a failed state. That's why there's all the dead people in Syria. And we're still occupying Syria. We have 2 permanent military bases into this craziness. Donald Trump just gave a speech where he said we would have first of all, Donald Trump put sanctions on Venezuela so we could crush their economy, which would foment a coup of their, and tried to coup their government. So we tried to overthrow their government so then we could then steal their oil. Well, some people say he wouldn't steal it, he would just take it. Yeah, take it and give it to Western oil companies. Not giving it to the American people. They'd give it to oil companies, the donor class, then they'd sell it to you.
Did you watch the other speech he was talking about?
They act like America would get the oil. That's how Trump talks like that. America wouldn't get the oil. British Petroleum would get that oil. Exxon would get that oil. Shell would get that oil. America wouldn't get that oil.
I would have got him to give us the oil.
An international company.
The next day, the oil. Did you see his other speech where he's talking about how ridiculous, the electric vehicle ridiculous shit is that they're doing? And he goes, they want us to have these guys. And we're going to go in these other countries. We're going to go obliterate these countries, our tanks, and what? Give them clean air. And they're like, woo! Like, that was like, now there's the beautiful psycho. So that's the part, if you're on the right, where you're like, yeah, this is crazy with Ukraine and all this. We got to gear up for China. And then people, the climate guy who was on here, who kept bringing up China, these people have a thing like, yo, because China, because they're already geared up for when China.
Remember all the wars China started?
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit